everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. I upload on Mondays and Thursdays, so please click subscribe anytime while watching this video, and you'll be notified when I have uploaded new content for your view. And of course, indeed, it is my pleasure. I'm going to get straight to it, what we're all talking about, and that is the Katt WIlliams truth, is what I call it. And it's been about a week. I believe it was a week ago today, in which Katt WIlliams sat in an interview or was a guest on the Shay-Shay show. You can, of course, I'm sure you've heard the entire interview by now, all the feedback by now, all the comments. But what we haven't heard is any dispute of the truth. We haven't heard any denial of the truth. And so that's what we're wanting to address today. Okay. And as you know, the title of my channel is Sheri Lewis Speaks Truth, and in my next video, I will tie this to how come I even gave my channel this name, because truth is very important to me. But having said that, let's dive into Katt WIlliams and my observation of it as it was occurring, because actually I was setting up my studio to record for my viewers, and I had it on live for the Shay-Shay show, and Katt WIlliams was the guest. And so it was happening at the time. I was hearing it as it was occurring. And I said, oh, every time he'd say something, I go, oh, he's getting it. The one thing that I got as I watched that is that there was no reservation for his introduction and delivery of the truth. He came ready, I'd say. It was as if there's such a time as this for this truth to be shared. And he was eloquent, he was articulate, he was ready. Having said that, I kept thinking, what will be the outcome? What will be the outburst? This is going to have some type of reaction. Somebody's going to want to clap back, I'm sure, but no one has. And so when you have an indisputable truth, you tend to quiet others despite their views of it. So having said that, the next day, I wanted to go back and watch the entire interview again, because as I said, I was setting up for this. And I really wanted to listen. I really wanted to almost analyze it a little bit. I wanted to hear the depth of the truth. I began to run a bath. And when I did, it was on about 20,000 views. And I thought, ooh, 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 ooh. By the time I got out of the bath, about an hour later, it had gone up to, I think it was 80,000 views, like from 20,000 to 80,000 in an hour. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to crash the internet. This is like bigger than I thought. I thought, this is going to break the internet. Now, there's been times, I think a few, 4 or 5 others, I don't know, I didn't Google it, so don't, discredit my discredit if I do. There's only been a few handful of times where the internet actually crashed because so many people was on this. And there's a list of that. But this was happening, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to pay attention. The things that stood out most was that by minute 11, Katt had made a comment that the truth needs no motivation. And gosh darn it, it doesn't. What it needs is a courageous person to speak it. It needs a courageous person to speak it. I'm just saying, I can't let these dudes lie, is what he said. The truth needs no motivation. I'm just saying, I can't. He was wrestling. I can't let them lie, he said. And so when I heard that, I said, he is pushing out. He is not stopping. He came with a purpose. Now, this is minute 11. By minute 13 or 14, he made a comment to Shannon saying, "This is the age of truth, and the truth need not be afraid of the fact that people lie." Now that's powerful. This is the age of the truth, and the truth not need to be afraid of the fact that people tell lies. Now look at the juxtaposition of those words. And I know he's an extremely intelligent person. He's also qualified a genius, so I get it. But it just rolled off his tongue that he came prepared to say that, and what truth it was. Now, I recall that a few years ago, some years ago, MoNique, the comedian MoNique, was on a campaign about her own unfairness. She went after naming names like Katt did. Lee Daniels in particular, just like in Katt's interview, was Ricky Smiley in particular, and then he would caveat on the others. MoNique was particularly after Lee Daniels, and although she had won the Academy Award for the movie Precious, I think Best Supporting Actress, they were upset that she didn't promote it enough. She should have promoted it more. And there began to be a war between them. And she went after him publicly. She went after Oprah. She went after Tyler Perry. And she said what she had to say, and it was her truth. But it wasn't received in the way that Katt WIlliams, I believe a lot of people heard her. She was making statements that they were blackballing her and that she couldn't get a role, and she was really speaking out for herself. In his interview, Katt WIlliams went as far as to call Steve Harvey and his crew a gang. Well, these are a gang. They watch out for each other. I stand on my own. It was the same kind of thing, but received differently. So therein could be a myriad of things. It could be timing. It could be delivery. It could be the age of truth, as Katt said. When MoNique was coming out with her provocations about what happened to her, we did not have what we have now in the political arena of feisty fights, where we're all getting to the point of being intolerant of the behavior. So, having said that, you can often find that there is not a reason to deliver the way that you're delivering to be as effective as you could be in juxtaposition of MoNique and Katt WIlliams, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. In watching this and thinking of the two of them, now here comes Raji P Henson in an interview saying that for her work, she's underpaid as a well-suited, well-ready Black actress and not getting the same level of pay as a white actress. Now, MoNique also had mentioned that. So here's MoNique again. MoNique also had mentioned that regarding Amy Schumer. She's a comedian and MoNique is a comedian, but the pay was vastly different. However, Taraji right now is getting a different reaction than MoNique. The point I'm making here is in reference to Katt WIlliams' statement when he says, we are entering in the age of truth, and the truth will not be afraid to bring out the facts against people that tell lies. And so it could be the timing. But every person, every actor, nearly every comment that I've read on all of this Katt WIlliams interview have lined up with him, have hoorah'd him, have supported him. Even those who are in the industry, not people like you and I, everyday people, but in the industry, they're either silent, which is saying, don't get in this battle, or they are verifying parts of this to their, what they call, people have their own memories about things that they get. Well, you know, this is a careful way of saying he's right, but I don't want to say all of that. Well, see, then don't say anything at all, because this is a powerful truth. There are different types of truth. There's an inconvenient truth, which Vice President Al Gore presented to us years ago about, you know, the climate. He went not only to our country, but global warming. Globally, he went screaming this truth like the bells of Jeremiah. Hello, wake up, wake up. And he wasn't taken. He said he was surprised. He thought everyone would want to hear. And he wasn't in the age of truth. There was resistance to it. So timing is important for truth. Readiness is important for truth. You have to understand which truth it is. Is it an inconvenient truth or an indisputable truth? Is it an unbiased truth? Is it undeniable truth? Is it a truth that sets you free or a truth that ties you down? Is it a truth you're ready for or a truth you want to avoid? At the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and it's not afraid to speak. It needs a voice by which to speak through. It needs a voice by which to speak through. And in order to do that, and in order to land, I always use the term land. So sometimes I have to explain that, but I'm not going to explain it. Go back to one of my prior videos and you'll see what I mean. But I mean to be effective, to reach the goal is what I mean, basically. But in order for the truth to land, be heard, be accepted, be embraced, be a light bulb moment, be illuminating, be a revelation. In order for it to do that in the way that Katt WIlliams just did it within the week, and is still everyone talking about it, it must be valid. It's indisputable. It's the gosh honest truth, and it's knocking down things. It's the truth that sets you free. But it needed the right voice at the right time to deliver it with a punch, with a sweetness, with a little funniness, however that is. It needed the right person. That's why, while MoNique is, I'm not saying she's not the right person, she probably didn't have the right delivery, or she didn't have the right timing. Raji P Henson is right now speaking a truth out, and she is being heard. She came right after, or right around the same time as Katt WIlliams. And so this truth is being heard. Whereas Al Gore, I mentioned years ago, with an inconvenient truth, and he even called it an inconvenient truth. Sorry, I have to tell you this, but guess what? It's global warming, and it's going to be globally. And it wasn't heard until we started getting these mass destructions, earthquakes, hurricanes. I mean, all over. So when I hear these truths, I go, have we rinsed our own cycles in order to embrace it in such a way that it can at least even be heard? I am also remembering back when rap music first came out. I don't remember when, but I remember when I began to hear then politician C. Dolores Tucker, who at the time was a very, I would say she had a sparkly career. She was very active in civil rights. She was a voice for not only civil rights, but Black empowerment. She was, I believe, the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and she could be heard, is what I'm saying. She had the voice to be heard. She could get through. She was effective. You were going to listen to her, kind of thing. But when rap came out and they used to call women bees and hoes, kind of thing, they didn't clean their language. There was even some advisory labels on some of it. When it was first coming out, you know, was gangster rap, as they called it. She went after them with fierce fire. And she said, don't you dare call us, especially Black women. We are the queens of the Nile in our heritage. How you dare disgrace us this way? She went after them. But in going after them, she began to battle with people whose battlefield was their entire life. Now, hers was too, but a different type of battlefield. And what they did is they went after her, calling her the same bees and hoes that they were using in the lyrics of their song. And it just turned into a righteous raft of words, I'll say. And I recall at the time that many women were in line with her. We supported her. But the way that she was engaging with them and combating with them, it was like pitting fire for fire, and it was the wrong approach. In comes Maxine Waters, who has the same credentials, the same pedigree, using an entirely different method. Now, to her credit, Maxine Waters was familiar with the rappers. She was from California. She can call a meeting with them. She can talk. She understood the streets. She understood the streets they were rapping about, Crenshaw, Compton, and all. She got it. She was understanding how to talk to them. And she was able to come in and still the waters, making the same requests that C. Dolores Tucker was making, but using a different approach. The same truth delivered differently, the same message spoken differently. That is an example of the truth has a timing, and the age of truth needs to be spoken at that timing. And how you deliver it, how you make your point, even if it is an inconvenient truth, an uncomfortable truth, an undeniable truth, a displeasing truth, even if it's an unfortunate truth, if it is delivered properly, non-combatively, effectively, honestly, piercingly, it will get through. It will land. Now, as I close, I'm going to ask you, look at the backdrop behind me. See how calm that is? I could just prop my feet up there with my book, have me some iced tea and just sit there all day. And I'm sure you could too. And you're invited to. Now, it looks like it's a painting, but it's actually truly a place. And guess what the place is? It's a real place. I chose it for us. It is a place called Truth or Consequences in New Mexico. Truth or Consequences. Now, I didn't even know there was such a place. I was looking for some words that said truth or consequences for this video. I was thinking, the truth has its consequences. I was going to have my speech, the truth has its consequences, so be careful when you deliver it, is what I was going to say. But then this image came by, and I said, there's such a place? So see, you learn something as you discover a truth. You learn some sweet truth. I said earlier how the truth can come across as so damaging and hurtful. But there are some sweet simmering truths that can set you free, that can be clear, that can clear your mind, that can clear your heart, that can clear your understanding, that can reconcile two people, that can reunite, that can calm the storming waters. So let's embrace the truth, okay? Now, I love you. Now, pay attention to tomorrow because I am going to upload tomorrow why I chose to call my channel Sheri Lewis Speaks Truth. It's an interesting story. That's all I can say. Tune in. It's an interesting story because it was the same type of experience that I had by which I said, not speaking the truth is no longer an option for me. Give me a way to do it effectively. And I'll tell you how I got there tomorrow. Okay, I love you. If you've gotten this far, please click subscribe. Bring a friend with you next time. And I love you. Keep your truth honest and loving. I'll see you next time. See you tomorrow. Okay, bye.